Here we are.
Here we are.
Back again.
Back again. This episode is all about the big why.
The big why.
Amy's why. Your why. Yep.
You, Amy.
Me.
You.
Okay, why are we here? No, really, why we're on the journey. I was at the CrossFit Masters CrossFit game. No, what do they call it? Age group CrossFit games several weeks ago. And we went to a pre-dinner before the game started, night before. And one of the guys there gave a nice speech. It was a good speech.
It was like a hype up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, go out there. We're champions. We're going to work hard. You're going to display your training. You're going to go after the points. You're going to do the best you can no matter what. But before he said any of that, the first thing he said is, number one, you have to remember your why. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? Why are you competing? Because that's the most important thing when you go out on the floor. And so it was an interesting journey because I feel like, I don't know, most people probably, of course I know my why. Why wouldn't I know my why? I know my why because that's why I'm doing it. And so for the rest of the week, my sister would be like, what's your why? That guy said you need to know your why. And I'm like, if I'm honest, like I could probably spout out some random things and just be like, oh, it's this or it's that or it's to glorify God or it's this, And really I was like, I don't know if I know. So since then, that was how many weeks ago?
I don't know. 3? Yeah.
Okay. So then I decided, I think maybe plane ride home. Do you feel like you have thoughts on plane rides?
Yeah.
I often, you're not doing anything else. You contemplate life a little bit. So on the plane ride home, I was like, okay, I'm going to find my why. I'm going to press in and do the things, whatever that is, to discover what my why is. And so I've been doing that. So I have my little journal and I've been praying about it. And I've been asking God to give me the puzzle pieces to my why so that I can put them all together and see the vision or the picture that it forms so that, the heart of what we're doing or what I'm doing is rooted and grounded in a solid why. So, and I think we all know, well, maybe not, we don't. I guess it's important to know your why because when things get hard or when things are uncomfortable, then you won't quit. You can come back to that thing that's going to ground you and be like, this is why I'm doing it and this is worth it.
Totally. One funny piece about your story also is that it was accented that you didn't know your why in a post-event interview.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that was that. Okay, you're right. So that is what triggered this. So first he said the why thing. My sister kept asking me, what's your why? What's your why? And I kept saying, honestly, I don't know. And then I sat down with a gentleman and we did a little interview thing. And he's like, we're not going to do the normal talk about the competition. I want to know your why. Why do you do this? And I think I haven't even gone, he's published it and I haven't gone and watched it because I just don't even want to listen to myself because I just rambled. And they weren't bad things. I was like, well, things along the lines of just like human potential. And we're older athletes and what can we do? And I want to be an inspiration to others to say, hey, we can be fit. We can be healthy. And just competing in CrossFit is different than CrossFit, the methodology. CrossFit, the methodology is really around health and wellness and combating chronic disease and doing things so that you can be healthy so that you don't have to deal with some of these diseases and different things. CrossFit, the competition is really pushing your body beyond that and maybe not always healthy to push to that level. And you're trying to, especially as an older athlete, you're trying to find a balance between the two. And so anyway, yeah, I rambled and I was like, man, that didn't feel like I knew my why. I just was talking to talk. So yes, that then triggered me. I started thinking from that point, what is my why? Maybe I don't know what it is. And so I've been on a why searching journey.
Why? Can we start by defining what is and is not a why? Because I think it's really easy for other things that are not whys to creep in. So for me, things that don't qualify as whys are like achievements and or titles, like careers or what have you, like those kinds of things that it has to be, the why has to permeate all those things. So it can't be one of those things because it limits it. Is this thing for me.
So for example, like, hey, why why are you competing? Why are you training? Why are you competing here at the CrossFit Games? And if you said, well, I want to get first place, like that would not be, or potentially that would not be.
I think, here's what I'll say. It could be a why. I think it's just a bad one. Of like, let's pick a really good why. A really good why.
I mean, you're free to pick whatever
You're
why
free
you
to
want.
pick. If first place is your answer, or just because I'm an athlete, well, you're like, okay, that can be a why, but it's kind of a bad one because it can strip away into something and it doesn't resonate across multiple domains of like, you are a well-rounded person with many facets. And if your why is specific to one, it's going to be not the best why. So yes, I guess we're defining the highest caliber of a why when we're defining
I guess, we should differentiate. So I think you have whys for different things.
Totally.
I think what this led me to is that I believe, God's given me a why on my life that would actually flow into every avenue in some aspect. So it should, I guess you could say it's a why, or it's a vision for your life, or who you really are. We could define it in different ways, but for me, what the thing I'm seeking is that thing that will ground me in a way of like, hey, is competing in the CrossFit Games, does that line up with the why that God has for me, or the vision God has on my life, or does it? And if it does, great, let's keep doing that. But when you have, I think, a clear picture of who you are and who you're created to be and what you're created to do, it's really easy to take that then and something comes along your path and you can overlay it and go, that doesn't fit. Yeah. So I don't need to be doing that. Right? And I think it also can propel you forward into the things that you're created to do. Because you'd be like, oh yeah, this very much aligns with what I feel like God's calling me to. And you talked about like, you don't really know yours either, but it doesn't bother you. Like you're just like, I'm kind of doing my thing and I'm happy. Where I think I'm so wired to want to have that piece, like the vision piece, the rooted piece. It's like I've kind of put everything on hold. We're just in a season of reset, really. I just finished the CrossFit Games. It's kind of pull back, reassess. It's a season I'm in, so you're kind of deciding, what do I want to have on my plate? What don't I? But for me to be able to do that, I feel like I need to distill down to what is this why? What is the vision? So that I can move forward in that. Part of that, too, could be because I am so big picture and I have a lot of thoughts and visions and ideas. Like if I don't have that grounding, I could
just go everywhere.
I could be chaos. Yeah. I'll do this thing. I'll do that thing. That sounds so fun. Like
Lack of focus. I was thinking about perhaps in one way, a why could be, you have a destination in mind for a long car trip, or you're going on a road trip with the family, the stereotypical station wagon, and it's got the kids in the back and it's all the stuff on the roof, and you set out and you have a destination in mind. And so everything from the planning and the packing and the preparation and the getting in the car that morning is all taking place with that destination in mind. Mm-hmm. And all the stops along the way, like everything supports the getting to the destination. Mm-hmm. Versus like just imagine wrangling up the family and getting in the car and you're like, hey Dad, where are we going? Where are we going? Don't know. We're just going to drive. Like it just seems kind of silly in a way.
Well, part of it too, I'm just thinking back to, remember when we did NBI, Neethling Brain Institute? So it was a way to look at your brain to figure out kind of, there's 4 quadrants of the brain. And you would have ones that were more dominant than others, like the area of the brain you would like to spend more time in. And so for you to break those up, each one of them had like a question. So the one I was most dominant in was why was the question. Like I want to know the why. I have to know the why, which makes sense to why it's shaken me so much, where I'm like, whoa, like I need to know this. But there's other people, I would say probably you fall into the category of the who.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Who are we doing this with? Like, I don't care what we're doing. I don't care why we're doing it. I just want to know who we're doing it with, And it's like, if we can lock arms with people and I'm with people I love and we're ready to go, I'll do anything. I don't care. Right? And so this is another quadrant, right? And then there's other ones are the how. So they're the detail people of like, okay, cool. You told me what we're doing. Awesome. Here's how we're going to do it. And they're all about how are we going to get it done? What do we need? How do we make it happen? What are the systems and what do we need to put in place?
Are you a how? Yeah, you're a how.
You're a how, but you're more than that. You're the what.
Oh.
You were a...
It's total left brain.
Yes. So the left. So this, and then the other quadrant is the what. Mm. And the what is like, what are we doing? What are we working towards? Like they're very love details. all the little parts and pieces. And so the what is actually the weakest one for me. So that's where I struggle the most, where it's like, yeah, I love going after the why and I love doing the who thing and even the how, but I tend to struggle on what are we actually going to put our energy towards, which I think would be the place I am now, where I'm at a little bit of a reset and we can kind of decide where we want to go moving forward. The struggle for me is actually what.
That's not an exciting challenge for you.
No.
Especially with the lack of why am I even doing it then?
Yeah. And so it's harder for me to define in the what if I don't have that strong why structured and in place. And so that, but it always has been for me the what. It's like somebody just tell me the what and I'm happy with all the other parts. Like if I know I can come up with the why, the who, and the how.
That's great.
It's the what are we actually doing?
Someone tell me what to do.
Well, I mean, that's, I think, you guys know often I'm just like, well, we should pray because I need to know what God's saying. I need to know the what, not coming up with it myself. So we should ask God.
We're just going to pray first. It's a great way to start.
It's not a bad thing.
No, it's a good thing.
But mostly it's because I don't know what to do.
Oh, man. So we need to find your why.
So we've been, my props down there, but Simon Sinek, he's out there in the, I guess, inspiration world. He's big on, we actually had a book on the shelf called Start With Why. And he breaks down kind of why it's important. And his whole thing is to just help inspire people to do what inspires them.
Yeah.
That's his why. So that's nice.
That's nice.
So I've been reading through his book and listening to some of his stuff and just trying to kind of put the parts and the pieces together as far as, what are the things that light me up or get me excited or all of these things. And so we wondered, can we process here and see where we get to? Can we find the why in 40 minutes to an hour? Right.
You thought our other podcasts were unplanned. This one is crazy.
It's in action, unfolding. It's
truly live.
We have no idea.
So now I don't know if anyone of us have ever done this before. So
no,
I guess we'll just figure it out as we go.
Well, what's fascinating is well, I know for Amy and I, we have years of experience in modalities that touch on this. So she mentioned NBI, the Neethling Brain Institute. We've, Working Genius, you're familiar with that. Simon Sinek, Start With Why, Atomic Habits, we have that book. So it's like, I think just like a lot of people, or at least the people in the spheres of podcasters and YouTubers we watch, it's very popular to consume lots of content that is trying to help people become more either effective or proactive or establish habits or be more meaningful in life, like cultivating meaningful things, finding their why. But as far as like putting rubber to the road and actually arriving at the destination, no, have not yet done that. Hence this podcast for Amy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I have no parts and pieces of it. I think it's just another opportunity to reassess and really dial that in. So we're tasking people here to see if we can get somewhere.
We can figure this sucker
in the facilitating of what's the why.
My mind keeps wandering to the end, starting with the end. Or my question for you is, what do you hope?
Questions are good.
Yeah, like what do you hope to experience, or what do you hope to discover when you grab hold of the why? Like, it's making me think of that the thing about like the dog, right? Like the dog that always barks at the car that goes by and or chases the car.
Oh, this doesn't sound very positive.
But finally,
what are you gonna do when you get it?
Or the dog's chasing something, and it's like when it finally grabs hold of it, it arrives. Like it finally catches what it's always been barking at and chasing.
Yeah.
And then once it like locks onto it, it's never, then it's never thought further than that. Now it's like, now what do I do? I got it. Right. So you're chasing the why.
Is that supposed to inspire me?
Yeah, totally.
It's an inspiring question.
But to think through, like, have you ever thought through, what do I expect life to look like when I've grabbed hold of it And I have it fully. This is my why.
Well, I mean, a lot of what we've been talking about on the podcast, like there's something inside me saying, hey, you're created for more. There's things I have for you to do. Like the Lord has these things that he's calling me to and things he's gifted me with. And I want to walk in the fullness of that because I believe it'll bring him all glory. Right. And I also believe that if I'm walking in the fullness of who God has created me to be, it'll inspire others. It'll touch other people's lives. I can't imagine God would bring you into the things that he has for you and it would be like bad for other people. That doesn't really line up so much. And so I think right now, because I can have lots of ideas and just be all over the place and come up with fun things, I think really this why or this vision, the clarity would be like, hey, if that's where we're headed, how do they then begin to move towards it and continue to go after what God has? Like I feel we've been talking about hunger. We've been talking about more. We've been talking about moving forward. I want all of those things, but I want to make sure I'm moving in the direction that God's calling me. And so to me, it is that grounding piece. It's the thing of like, okay, God, like I could do lots of things.
Yeah.
I have different gifts that I could use, but I want to be on target with what your dream for my life is. And so for me, it's attached to that why and that vision to move forward.
I started laughing when you said you want to start with the end because that's like a Stephen Covey thing. Start with the end in mind, which is perfectly fitting your previous commentary about like acquiring all these like resources on how to do this stuff, which is good. My thought goes to a similar place of the end in mind. Have you ever done the 80th birthday party practice?
Explain.
It makes me cry every time I do it. I hate doing it, but it's beautiful. We'll do it right now, and then you can tell me if you've ever done it before. Basically, you just close your eyes, and you have to set the scene because that's important. So you are in the prettiest place on earth you've ever been, like your favorite place. You love that place, and it's your 80th birthday party, and there's like pretty lights and candles on the table and all your favorite food, and it's this long runner table, like family style. All the chairs lined up, and every chair is full. And it's full of every person you love and adore that you'd want to be there. Every seat. They're there to celebrate you and the 80 years that you've accomplished, all the things that you've done. And the question you basically work through is who is at the table? And when they go around and they share about me and my life and the impact I've had, what do they say about me? And you just kind of like go through person by person your thing. And by far, it is deadly as an exercise because you're like, oh, these are who are important to me. And this is what I wish they'd think of me. And I'm a mess at the end. I don't know. But it's cool. Like, have you done things like that?
I think, though, there's the exercise of like write the letter of what you want people to say about you.
Your eulogy. Yeah.
Your eulogy.
Yeah. I feel like we've done that.
Very similar. That's a Stephen Covey thing of you write the eulogy letters for your own eulogy that you would want your a family member, a friend, a coworker, and then even a pet, like if you have a pet. So you would write what you would hope they would say about you. Mm-hmm. And then you look at that, you take inventory, and if how you're living your life doesn't match up with that, like, so say, your coworkers are like, oh, Amy was always there, super supportive, ready to drop everything in a moment's notice and just help you out. And then you take stock. It's like, okay, if you're actually not there all the time and you don't drop things, like if you're not living in your life in congruency with how you want them to talk, then, it's like, it's the light on the dashboard. Like maybe you need to reassess either how you're currently acting to line up with the eulogy or change what you want people to say about you. It's very similar to the birthday. This is the first time I've heard about the birthday thing. That's a pretty cool and powerful one as well.
Yeah.
It kind of incorporates all because at that table could be friends, coworkers, family, maybe the pet,
Maybe the pet.
Scrumbles is sitting at the table as well.
At his own little chair. Yeah. Are there any words or themes that are consistent for you when you do those sorts of exercises?
I think for me, there is such a just impact. Like there's such a core desire in here to help people, but like specifically in the area of connecting with God, where any moment where it's like, hey, I was a small part of you seeing God for who he really is, where something inside of you was awakened to something you didn't know existed, right? The character, the nature, the goodness, something along those lines. That to me comes up a lot, where it's just like this igniting or this awakening to this reality.
That's cool. Okay, well, you've been asking for puzzle pieces. So what do you got so far?
Well, I think we have to do the reverse exercise first, because then I can tell you the pieces I have.
What does that mean?
So just how did he word it? Why are we friends? Why are we friends?
Oh, I forget.
Yeah, I think basically.
So basically, like one of Simon Sinek's things of how to find your why, or one of the many ways I guess you could find your why, is pick a friend that you're close friends with, not a family member, not a spouse, not a child or a parent, but a friend. And then you ask that friend, like, hey, what is it about me that makes you want to hang out with me or makes me your friend? And then they'll describe things like, oh, well, you're kind and generous. And he's like, oh, well, great. That's great. You're describing a friend. But what is it about me? Like, what makes me somebody you like to spend time with? And then the goal is to eventually you get the person would start, like, so you would begin describing to Amy, like, what specific things about Amy, because there's all like there's things that hit all the markers of a friend that Amy and all your other friends will have, but then you'll start getting into specifics about, okay, well, what is it specifically about this friendship that makes sense?
Yeah. What I think is funny for me going into this is I already know that I'm not going to start at the right level, even though I already know where I'm supposed to get to.
Somewhere, though.
You're like, I know that I'm going to start too general, and then it's going to be pushed back, and you'll be like, okay, yeah, more specific.
Yeah, just prime the pump.
Yeah. It's so funny when you're like, yeah, of course. And then I'm like, I know where I'm supposed to be, and I just can't get there on my own. I still need to go through the 5 levels, which is funny because I'm like, I'm sure it's probably easier
process for
when you're not going through it.
Totally. And he did say that's the process.
That's the process.
Yes.
So it's there for a reason.
Normal. It's normal.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can't participate in this because
you're a spouse.
I'm a spouse.
Ixnade. Too close. Gone. Okay, so I have to tell you why I like you.
Big drink.
Why I am friends with Amy is because I like that you are constantly in the pursuit of more, and I think it's something where you have enough empathy to see stuff in other people, but then there's no tolerance for anything less than best from anyone, and I just like that because it's not just it's not hypocritical because you hold yourself to the same standard, which is very cool. And you have a desire for fun, you don't want to do things unless it's not fun, and I don't either, so that's great. And you show up fully in the things that you do. And sometimes those things change really quick, so it's really hard to keep track of which thing we're showing up fully in this week. But there's some things that are very consistent and steadfast, which is very cool. You're funny. You're consistent, which is funny because a lot of things about your life are actually very inconsistent. You move every 10 seconds and change jobs 1,000 times. I have no idea what careers you've had. I've heard them 18 times and I still don't know. There's so many things, but then it's the character of who you are is very steadfast, and that's very comforting. So I think you feel very safe, which is cool because I don't think that is common. I need some pushback now to start.
So when you're supposed, it's.
Would you like to facilitate? Or you want me to facilitate?
I'll jump. I'll jump in where I feel a creative spark.
Okay. What about has anything changed? Like, was there been, because I entered your life, did something shift or change?
In my life?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Extremely so. What changed it? That's a great question. Oh, no. Sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
Dang
Tears
it.
are a good thing.
Every time. This is so embarrassing for me. Gosh, you're supposed to be the one crying, not me. I think that this is one of the first friendships where I have felt permission to be fully myself and be celebrated in that, which is like so cherished to me, because I think in a lot of the ways I've grown up and I've seen other people show up in my life, there's always like a contingency or a what if, or like, this is great, but like this isn't. And in so many ways you've called me to be better, and you've shown me ways that I have like lived and functioned that are just so much less than what I'm called to, but it's never come from a place of shame or like, you don't need me to be different in any way. It just like comes from an authentic desire to see like me live out the fullness of what I'm made for. And so like with that has come so much more confidence in both like my own calling and the way that I show up and what I'm willing to offer people, because I don't feel the need to be as apologetic or as accommodating for who I am. I can actually believe that I was made with purpose, and that just because it's different doesn't mean that it's bad, and kind of like own those things better. So I show up in so many things so differently because I spend way less time apologizing for who I am.
It's good. I think it's such an aspect like that is a deep core thing for me, because I think that's how Jesus sees us. You know, like, he loves us so much. He lets us come just as we are. And yet he's like, hey, see that thing there?
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Yeah.
But at no point do you feel condemned.
No.
You just feel like he wants that because he wants you to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll draw you closer to him. And that it is so my heart to help people discover who they are,
mm-hmm.
and be so happy with that,
mm-hmm.
and be able to realize, hey, we're still on a journey.
Yeah.
And we're still going to grow into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that resonates hugely,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we're searching for something that we've always had. So Cultivate Connection, we came up with this tagline. I don't even remember when we came up with it. I don't know where or what.
We lived in Abbotsford. It was somewhere around 2016 or 17, and your mom helped us come up with a name. It was during a phone call.
Oh yeah,
with
not the name, but the actual connect with God, discover identity,
Mm-hmm.
and awaken purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's funny to me that, like, the more that I'm circling around and doing this exercise,
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's coming back to this place,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of helping people connect with God, where you can learn your true self and discover your identity.
Mm-hmm.
And then that third piece is that awakening purpose. And it's exciting because I think, I don't know, I guess when you discover your why, like when you start speaking that, something lights up on the inside of me, where it's like, yes, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I want to take people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very cool.
It worked.
I don't think we fully arrived,
Oh,
but
okay.
okay. We're getting close.
Yeah.
I don't think we've fully arrived, but we did touch on some really great stuff. You know, like what I got with that conversation right there, like the interaction that just took place. When I have these train of thoughts, it's almost like it wants to fly away. Like I got to catch it. It's like what I see with you. It's like you hear the stories of like the guy that works at the nuclear power plant, and he comes home with like a piece of radioactive material in his pocket.
Who's hearing these stories?
You hear these stories.
Who do you know that works at a nuclear power plant?
Sorry, it's floating away. Don't distract. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Keep going. You come up with a little bit of radioactive something.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. Yeah.
The point is is that it's like having an individual who possesses something unbeknownst to them, they're in possession with something that is affecting the world around them. Like it's emitting radiation, right? Like, so it's affecting the family, it's affecting whatever. So here's a thing, a source of power that, a person can have that's affecting the world around them that they don't really fully grasp, but yet that same thing, when harnessed, like at the power plant or in full, you get the picture, right? Like radioactive material, when harnessed, can generate like megawatts or whatever, kilowatts of energy to power multiple cities, right? Like, so the point I'm trying to make is you can possess a power that, when focused and harnessed, can just be so overwhelmingly like powerful and amazing, but it is still active and dynamic, even if you aren't even aware of it. So like what I sense with Amy is that I don't think you're on the spectrum of like you're unaware that God is active and moving through your life, but I think you're on this continuum. You haven't arrived at the other end of the spectrum, but you're working towards being able to harness it in a greater capacity. And so hope it comes back to me. There was another part of that where maybe it'll come to me in explaining, like what I've seen in you, what I've seen in Amy that you've experienced is, I believe you possess this capacity to reveal facets of God's character to other people. And you, Marika, are one of the rare occasions of somebody that's fully embraced it and said yes to it, because more often than not, through a multitude of people, I've seen people reject it and hence reject Amy. And usually comes in the package of you're too much or you're too over the top.
I hate that.
Right? Does that resonate with you? Like,
I hear what you're saying. I don't know if I'd say more often than not, but
well, yes, I guess.
But yes, it is part of the reality.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, probably not more often than not, but when it does happen, sometimes it happens like in spectacular fashion.
Yeah,
where you're like,
in
wow,
big ways,
where did that?
Where it makes it feel like it's more often than not.
Yeah,
even if it's not, even if the numbers don't add up, you're like,
which I think can cause, a little bit of a shutdown.
Yeah.
Right. Like last week we talked about the more and the hunger and all of this is personal right now, because I feel like there's a little bit of a reset for me where it's like, it's time to go after more. It's time to deal with the chaff and get rid of that stuff that's distracting. It's time to step into the why and the vision that God has and move forward and take risks. Why do I want to do all of that? And it's interesting because for me, it's very much, I'm so aware of the fact that, Lord, you've called me to impact lives around me, but I can only impact them to the level that you're flowing through my life.
Yeah.
So it just feels like another opportunity or a wave to press into the next thing, because it's time for people to keep going. Right. And I take that ownership of like, the reason I want to keep going it's like, do I want to know God more? Yes. But the part of that is like, I want greater impact. I want more to give people.
Yeah.
And so as someone who is like a pioneer, I'm someone that like, I know that's part of how I'm wired, which can, when you're alone, kind of working your way through into these things, like people think you're a little bit nuts. Like you're saying, people reject it. It's like kind of beyond maybe where they're at, but that's the point. Right. And so we talked about last time, you can't go somewhere you can't see. If you don't know a place exists, you're probably 9 times out of 10, the people are not going to go there. There's going to be those 1 or 2 that'll explore in and make the path for other people.
Yeah.
And that's what the weight of what I feel right now. I'm like, okay, yes, they'll reject me. Yes, they're not going to get it. Maybe they're not going to lock arms with me and run with me because I haven't discovered it yet. But if I could press into it and make a path forward, maybe one day, then we'll get there. Little by little, slow by slow, we can open up that pathway for them. And so I think it's taking that responsibility and realizing, like not everybody's going to be a fan. If you're the early adopter, if you're the one making the way, it doesn't make sense.
No.
And I think for me, I'm really wanting to embrace and own that more, because it's really easy just to go, like get discouraged from this and go, oh, well, what's the point? Like nobody's like, people are just rejecting this. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why eyes on Jesus has to be the main thing.
Yeah.
Especially as someone who's trying to pioneer into the next thing, to bring others with you. But I'm like, I don't know how to bring them with me until I get there first.
That's an interesting statement. I tracked with everything you said to the last thing, and I don't think that part's true. I don't know why I don't feel that way, but I think that last sentence is funky.
I can't leave it there. What about it?
What did you say exactly now? You said I don't know how to bring people with me until I'm there. I don't know. I just, everything you said, I was like, yep, until that. And I was like, nope, that's a lie.
Fair.
That one set off the lie radar.
It might just be finding the people that want to run.
Yeah.
Right. And then being patient enough. It's not even patient. I get that people don't know what's in my head. And I have a hard time, I think, getting more clear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I had a clear vision for people, or if I was better at describing things, or the same problem I have right now, my own vision, like perhaps if that vision was clear in my heart, then it would be clear to other people.
Yeah. Easier.
People to be able to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be a definition or a defining or a position.
I find it interesting how you just said something about not being clear, or people not understanding. Like I know between us, like still in our marriage, doesn't cause huge fights, or I don't even think it causes a fight, but it causes a little bit of friction. Sometimes Amy will be describing something and I'll ask follow-up questions, or I don't get it, and she'll get frustrated.
Yeah, I don't like to be misunderstood.
And then she'll then she kind of like shuts down, and I have to pull her back or draw her back out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I don't like being misunderstood. You know?
Like, well, then describe it better, because I'm confused.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a huge thing. I'm out of thought. I don't know why I'm having this thought, and I don't know what it connects into, but I'll say it out loud because that just seems like the realm we're running in these days. As you were describing the desire you feel to like make the way and to bring people with you, and like having vision, that's something that you don't have, that in that portion specifically, I don't know when we became friends.
Fair.
It was, and like that line, I think made a big difference in terms of the impact that you made. So to further elaborate, we had like mutual friends and we crossed in circles a few times. So I like knew your face and your name, but not much else about you. And then you joined, our gym and kind of like our open training times just before you went to the games the first time. And so we spent a lot of time together all of a sudden, but I was like, Amy's just here to train. This is fun. This is cool. This is different. This is great. And then around that time is also when I was like, and you've done some stuff with Young Life and I see you know more than I do. So if you're ever on the side, also, if I could employ you to teach me about Jesus, that'd be great. And so I assumed after the games that you like wouldn't come back. And then you came back, you kept training. I was like, okay, this is fun. Nice. The great times keep on going. And then at one point we would just text about things. And I was like, oh, that's fun. And then it like kept transforming. But I would say like, the realm and the reach of the impact that you've had on my life has increased astronomically with the scope of which our lives have overlapped, which I think makes sense logically when you think about it, but it's like repeatable every time with you. Like I don't want to name names because this is on the internet, but but I'm like, if you look at the friends and the people that you spend time with, every time you allow yourself to open up, it's significant, like consistently 100% of the time it hits every time. And so I'm like, part of me is just like, I wonder if it's just, maybe it's that rejection of like, my experience has been 100%. I haven't seen the people that turn it down, but I'm like, man, when the people say yes, it works every time. And I think that's crazy. That's significant.
Yeah, I agree. Like, so as a marker, I can look at the people in my life and I, not in a prideful way, but I am very well aware that my presence in their life has caused them to grow.
Yes.
And that's my heart.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I'm not by accident. Like,
yeah. You're not like, wow.
And, well, I think it's the thing you said, like I so see the potential in people and I just want them to walk in the fullness of what that is.
Yeah.
And I don't I'm so just wired as a coach to be like, no, we're just going to go after the greatest version of this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sensitive. Do you want that or not want that? Like, I'm not going to force it on anyone. But if somebody's motivated and wants to run, I'm like, let's go. You know, let's do everything we can so that you can come. I'll help coach you into the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Right. That to me is fun. Now, if you bring someone to me that has no motivation and wants me to motivate them to get better, that's where we'll have a disconnect. I think there's people in the world who has that gift.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's really important. But I'm like, yeah, no. But if you come motivated and you want to grow and you want to go after these things, yeah, I'm like, I'll help you. I'll whatever it takes. Let's do that.
Was it Patricia King that was talking about purpose and assignment? Remember that teaching? Have you ever heard teachings on that, purpose and assignment?
No.
I think it's all in the same vein of why, right? But there's your purpose would be your why. But then in your purpose, you have many assignments. Like, so I always forget what hers was. Hers was
to inspire people. Yeah.
Right? So she used the example, like, my purpose, my God-given purpose, my why is to inspire others, right? But there will be many different assignments. Like, I inspire others through being an author, through public speaking, through my podcast, right? You see, like, there's different streams that all flow from the same source.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly why I was thinking that, but like for you with your why, what would be, do you have any insight on your purpose and then your assignments?
That's good questions. That would help bring some clarity. Absolutely. I think, well, it's definitely in the area of spiritual growth. That's like what we were just talking about, helping people grow. It's been mostly spiritual, honestly. That's what I'm most passionate about. I mean, I do coach CrossFit as well, and I love that. But I get more excited when people are growing in their relationship with God, or, you know, we come up against something that's hindering them from knowing Him, and that lie gets taken out of the way, and then they're able to move forward. Like, that to me is thrilling. So I think it is that, like, if we're to go back to connecting people with God and helping them find their identity and awakening the purpose inside them, like, I just still feel like it is those three veins. Now, if that can be distilled down to something clearer, that would be purpose, I would say it would be in that realm.
So if I understand you correctly, your purpose is close to helping people grow spiritually, spiritual growth.
For sure.
For sure.
Okay, we got to circle back here, though, because you said you'd give us the puzzle pieces after we did the exercise.
We can.
Something?
So I was chatting with another friend. I did the assignment, this same thing we did with another friend. And, well, let's be accurate.
Yeah.
I like accuracy.
Accuracy is important.
Good thing this is being recorded. I didn't have to take notes. Okay. So one of the puzzle pieces she had said, when we got to that point of what changed in your life.
Yeah.
So the first time she met me, I was actually leading, I was substituting leading a yoga class. And we did a meditation. And she had said at first, she's like, who is this? Why is this person here? I want my regular person. Like, what's going on? So she wasn't really open to it.
No, okay. Yeah.
But she was there. And so led them through a meditation where they were encountering Jesus. And she said something touched her in a way, like it opened up something inside of her that she didn't even know she had access to. So she made this connection with God and herself and in that space. And I was able to facilitate that. And she felt like something ignited on the inside. And so when she shared that with me, she was in tears. And then I was also in tears because I'm like, that's just what I want to do. Like, I just want to bring people into God's presence and have that ignite something inside of them. Like, this is why you're alive. You know, like, He created you. Like, it's that moment of, oh, there's something more. And then she started asking me just different questions about, like, when have you felt like fully alive, or just like, moments where you're in the zone, or like in the Spirit of God, or feeling His presence, and different things like that. And I was explaining that we had put on a retreat at one point, and I ended up at the head of it somehow. And she was like, okay, well, and I said, I was teaching, and then I went into leading like this yoga class, and it was this crazy, amazing, profound experience for me and for these people, where I'm looking out in my mind's eye, and I'm seeing, it's a beautiful resort, and I'm looking out and across where the palm trees are and stuff. I see Jesus walking across the grass to the field to this room we're in, and I see him coming in the door, and so I'm explaining this to people, and it's part of the encounter, like, hey, Jesus has just walked in the room, and he's coming to sit with you, like he's face to face with you. What do you have to tell him in this moment? What does he want to tell you? Right? Like, just facilitating this encounter. And I had a lot of testimonies come back, and people really encountered the Lord. And so she was like, oh, so it was like the teaching, or was it like the leading, or was it? And I actually got to lead the whole retreat and all the parts and the pieces. And I said, no, it was all of it. Like, we put together prophetic cards for people where I think there's 80 people or something.
I forget.
And I wrote out prophetic words for these, like all of them. And they got these different cards, and we had these small group times, and it was just these moments. And I think what I was being able to facilitate the kind of space where even these little small items mattered for people to encounter God. Like, they could encounter God in the class, or on their own in their quiet time, or in the meal, or like, the whole idea was just to create this atmosphere, this environment where you wouldn't just encounter him once, but it was like this idea of, you're here for the weekend, and it was like here, 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 and here. And it would just layer upon layer upon layer of like, this is the goodness of God. This is what he thinks about you. This is what he's really like. And that brought me so much life. Like, it was just that idea of, and so for me, it's facilitating any encounter I love. Like, that's why we do the meditation. That's why it was birthed in the first place, whether I knew it or not. And why we still record it today is to offer people a place to encounter God. And so we talked about that, and I was like, okay, yeah. And then we talked about too, like, I really enjoy, so the bus ride up to this, I was helping with the yoga stuff, and there was a 3-hour bus ride to get to the facility, the camp. And I just remember going down along, sitting with different people, and I just remember it. I felt really anointed, where it just be like, I'd start asking them a question, where they're from or what they're doing and all of this. And just in that moment, really try to tap into something God had. And it would be different kinds of encounters. Like, somebody said, oh, I lived in Kansas City. And then I'd start telling them stories about how I spent time in Kansas City in the presence of the Lord for months, and it changed my life, and all of this stuff. And then you could just tell there was something there. And more than that, when she asked me, why did you enjoy going through the bus and doing this? I was like, you know what? It was such a brief moment. It was like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. It wasn't anything long, but I just felt like it was an opportunity for them to know God sees them, to know that he knows them. Like, they're all nervous. We're going up to this intensive where they're going to get their yoga certification, and they're super nervous. Yeah. And it was just these moments of like, God sees you. God knows you. He loves you. And so these little tidbits. And so it was things like that where I'm like, yeah, it's encounters with God in all forms that get me really excited. And then she's like, well, what about as a kid? Like, when? And so I was like, I actually didn't get into sports or anything really till later in life. Like, I just was super slow developer. Didn't really care. I learned to ride my bike in 8th grade. We went to this lake every summer, and my brother learned to water ski probably when he was like 4. Yeah. I didn't get on skis till I was like 8th grade again. Like, it was just, I just didn't care. It was, I don't know. But I would spend hours. There's a little creek that would flow down into the lake from the forest, and I would spend hours just playing in the creek. And, she's like, well, what were you doing? And I'm like, well, like in the spring, like all the logs would come in and get all jammed up and all of this. And so I would go and I'd clean the creek. Like, I'd get all the logs out and all the obstacles out of the way so that the water could flow freely. And then if that was all done, then I'd start messing with it and be like, well, what if we make it flow this way? And it would go over like here. And what if we float this way? And then like a waterfall would happen or whatever. And so we started talking. She's like, that's what you do today, right? I'm like, yeah. She's because we're like one-on-one with people a lot. It's like, it is just how can we facilitate the flow of the Holy Spirit?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we get rid of the things in the way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, that's my heart. How do we set up atmospheres and environments and spaces for people to come in where those hindrances don't have to be a thing? We can just allow the Spirit of God to flow into people's lives and change their lives. And so that was kind of an interesting discovery, because had never thought of that as
That's fun.
like how I'm wired,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was just so content just be playing by myself in the river, in the creek. So those are some of the puzzle pieces as far as things that I've gathered so far.
Come to.
As you're describing talking to people, and I forget the exact verbiage you used so they would encounter God, stuff like that. My question again, like, expands the scope. Like, why is it important for people to encounter God? And it's kind of a leading question, so I'll give you a hint of like what I'm thinking of is
double leading.
Well, I'd love to hear you explain why you like that. Is it Irenaeus? The quote?
Mm-hmm.
Why you like that quote? If you say the quote.
The glory of God is man fully alive.
Yes. What is it about that?
Because I think it's true. I think in this journey that we're on, I just have such a strong belief that if we know God, like, coming to know God is like the most important thing. And then I don't think we can fully come to know God. We also have to come to know ourselves. So knowing God and knowing ourselves are things that go hand in hand. But to start by, who is God? What is he like? And then the next piece is like, who am I? And those two things together, because I think they reveal each other. And so I believe, like, just this picture, like, coming to know who you are is when you can look into God's eyes and you look so deeply that you begin to see your own reflection in his eyes, and you actually see yourself as he sees you. That's who you are. And when you can see yourself as he sees you and you begin to walk that out, that brings him honor and glory. And so when we live fully alive, which I think is when we can see who we are and we step into who we are, it glorifies God. Like, look at Jesus. Jesus walked out his life as who he was. He knew who he was. He knew who God was.
Mm-hmm.
And he also knew his purpose and assignment. So when we have all three parts, right? We know God, we know ourselves, and we know our purpose and assignment, then we can step into that. And what does that do? It glorifies God. Like, everything that Jesus did glorified God. And I think we can live lives that everything we do glorifies God when we know him, know who we are, and then walk in that purpose that he has. And ultimately, like, for me, I don't like being misunderstood. And then I've just realized in this last week or so, I really don't like it when God is misrepresented. Like, it really bothers me. And because I'm like, that's not what he's like. And every time he's misrepresented, it turns someone away. It puts a bad taste in someone's mouth. And the scripture talks about, hey, taste and see that the Lord is good. And if you've tasted and you're seeing and it's not good, it's not God. It's not God. Mm-hmm. But we all have these bitter tastes of like, oh, well, God did this and God did that and God did this. And I'm like, no, taste and see that the Lord is good. And he's good in everything he does. And so I remember years ago, I got in an argument with one of your friends I didn't know very well. Because we started going after the goodness of God. And I'm like, rah! And I was pretty young and immature. So I've got pretty angry. But I just realized that's part of my wiring. Like, not to defend God. He doesn't need me to defend him. I just want people to know him for who he really is. And when he's misrepresented, it breaks my heart. Because it's just going to deter people from coming to know who God truly is, which then stops them from knowing who they are, which I believe your purpose and destiny come out of your identity. So when you know your identity, from that emerges what God's called you to. It's not just like, oh, I've got this thing I really want to do. It's like, no, the more you learn who you are and your identity is revealed, then you're going to be like, oh, I know what to do.
Yeah.
I know what to move forward in. And so all of that is one brick on top of the other.
Well, my brain's been working over here trying to find like a thread or a theme or something, which I have a hard time doing things in the moment. Maybe you just need to watch this after and maybe there'll be so much stuff. But the one word I keep hearing like over and over and over again is Waymaker. And I think that, I think it, but I also know it to be true, that we are designed with purpose to bring certain aspects of God and who he is to life on earth. And that's part of what we keep talking about, the body and how we're all different. Like, we're all assigned different things. And it's when we work together in community that's when you get the fullness of the picture of it. And I think that Waymaker is a huge, huge one for me in terms of like who Jesus is and why he came, and just this idea of like, he made a way when there was nothing but brokenness and all of these things. And he exemplifies over and over again about what it looks like to step out and to go beyond, and that fullness of that relationship. And it sounds to me like over and over again, the constant theme is this idea of like, I'm going to go first. I want to go so that others can follow. I want to like see people into their fullness of things. And it's like, you need people that are designed to literally make the way for others to do that, because so many people are so stuck. Right. And so that is something that I keep
like
hearing
that.
over and over again.
When you said, I saw a picture of like, not a baseball card, but I don't play any of these games, but like there's cards for like different things, and then people have different powers and different.
Are you talking about Pokemon?
Yeah, maybe. Any of
What are you
those.
talking
Like
about?
any card series.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
Pokemon, Magic the Gathering.
Yeah,
Okay.
all of those things.
I've never seen one of
Okay.
those or held them in my hands, but
I just assume it's like a baseball card, but like
Okay,
there's
yeah.
a card,
Yep.
and the person would be on it.
Yeah.
And so like you're talking about, like every person is meant to display aspects of who God is,
yes.
and they have different gifts and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
like how we just need to put together the system that we can discover this, and then give people their cards.
Their
and be
next
like,
ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
Here you go, you're Marika, and
Yeah.
you're displaying these aspects of God.
Yes.
And that's your strong suits, and here are your your powers or your gifts and
Yeah.
your things that you have. Probably just so many people are like, I just went down a road of magic cards.
No,
what
I
I'm
like
saying.
it. No, I like it.
But just like that defining, right? And to be like, here you are, this is your card, this
Yeah.
is what you're good, okay, yeah. Awesome.
Well, that like how so often you're like, okay, what are you bringing to the table? And I'm like, I don't know. And I think your desire is like, here's your card,
Yes.
figure it out.
Right.
Like,
let's define that.
let's
figure
define
out.
who you are and what you're made to be, so then you can go and do the thing, because this is dumb that you don't know that. And I'm like, I agree with you, but I don't know what to do.
Well, I think I believe that I try not to separate secular and spiritual anymore. It's all the same. But I believe like our daily lives mirror heaven's reality. And like what I'm trying to say there is I think there's a spiritual premise in everything we see physically. So for instance, like, why do sports teams have different positions, right? And like it's the coach or whatever that raises up each athlete, and like say younger sports teams kids, some kids will show a certain aptitude, that makes them a goalie or makes them a center or forward, whatever the positions are, right? Like it's the coach that puts the players in the right positions that they're created for. Some like their bodies are physically bigger, linemen in the NFL, whatever, right? Like, so sports teams have a multitude of players, like whose card would each have a different set of
Right.
skills on there, right?
Yeah.
Fire departments, police, SWAT teams, military, like the point I'm trying to make is that's our worldly system has these characteristics, right?
So we can put aces in their places.
I believe the spiritual realm mirrors that as well, right? Like in the spiritual realm, we have different giftings, right? And we have people that can come together and operate as a team. So as you were talking, I got really excited when you held up your hand for a second, because I thought you were going to do the whole hand thing. Like if you remember,
fingers?
the fingers that, well, when you were saying Waymaker, it was making me think like Amy is, from my vantage point, is more often than not like all about the prophetic, like how God's speaking, how God's moving. And I think it's the prophetic is the finger, right? Like, so the pinky finger is pinky finger is the teacher, because it goes deep in the ear.
You're talking about the fivefold ministry.
Fivefold ministry, yeah. And then the ring finger is the pastor, right? Like, and then the evangelist is the middle finger, because it's the longest. They go the furthest. But then the prophetic is the pointer finger, because they point the way.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I was thinking of. Like The prophetic is making a way. They're pointing the way. Like, here's where God's going.
What's the thumb?
And to wrap it up, the apostle touches.
Okay, I was like, what about the thumb?
The thumb, the apostle touches all of them. Right. But when you're saying waymaker, I'm thinking Amy, the pointing, the prophetic pointing.
Wow. Well, this has been very encouraging and helpful.
Do you feel closer to your why?
I do.
Really?
I do, especially in the moment. But then I'm going to go back and watch it. I'm glad we recorded it because I was having felt like pieces kind of coming a little bit more clear together while I was talking about it and while we were going through things. But if you were to tell me to describe it right now,
Oh, good, because I was about to ask you to describe it right now.
I exist to help people connect with God, discover identity, and awaken purpose.
Good.
Where's back to where you started?
Yeah, just write it down so you don't lose it.